Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another Project Slumber podcast video. Today is episode 13. We're going to talk about the effects of losing sleep and how that affects your health and your brain specifically. So let's get right into it. Okay, snooze or lose. Why skimping on sleep hurts your brain. So, first, we're going to talk a little bit about the effects of losing sleep on your brain. So, first of all, let's talk about memory. Okay, so if you watch one of the previous videos, you know that the sleep is divided into cycle, right? So you have non-rapid eye movement. There's three stages: N1, N2, N3 within NREM, and then the rapid eye movement, which is REM, and then the cycle repeats again. And usually, um, all people go through various like 4 to 5 cycles every night, or 3 to 4, depending on how much you sleep, but the memory part is retained in REM, and deep sleep, right? So that's the part where lots of intellectual and brain activity is going, is when you're in REM sleep. So that means your body is like partially not paralyzed, but it's not moving, right? Your body is completely, you know, inactive, while your brain is very active and it consolidates these memories. Less sleep means harder, harder consolidation of memories. It's harder to retain the information, and especially if you have a test this day, it's going to be harder to recall whatever you studied. Okay, and so next we have weakened focus and decision making. So sleep deprivation slows the prefrontal cortex, and this leads to poor judgment, slower reaction times, etc., as well as emotional instability. So you have an overactive amygdala without enough sleep, and this causes more anxiety, irritability, and mood swings. And finally, we also have a couple others, right? We have mental health risks. There's a strong link to depression and anxiety, sleep problems. Um, and they often come before a mental illness, in fact. And furthermore, you have things like brain toxin buildup, like the lymphatic system, which is inhibited due to less sleep. And there's a buildup of harmful proteins, for example, beta amyloids, as well as reduced creativity, because REM sleep again consolidates memories, but also helps form new connections between memories, right? So sleep is really important for not only retaining and recalling those memories, but connecting them. And less sleep equals weaker problem solving and creativity. And then finally, you have long term brain impact. Chronic sleep loss is linked to cognitive decline, increased risk of neurodegenerative diseases, um, and overall just negative physical um, well being. Right, like I can't go to the gym after a terrible night's of sleep. I can't focus in class, right? These are all things that are very important to day life, but sleep, you know, hurts that. But it all starts with the brain. That was kind of an introduction to, some scientific um, perspective on why losing sleep is negative. Okay, so thank you for listening to that. I'd like to end off with a more personal anecdote instead of a scientific overview, that comes from personal experience. And that is, I think sleep is, having good sleep might be one of the best, personal changes to any facet of life. That whether that be academic, be physical, or sports, music, extracurriculars, anything, any aspect of life can be drastically improved by having a great sleep schedule. And for me, what it was is not the feeling of being more, you know, efficient and having, a better time doing work. No, it's actually kind of more of a mental and even kind of intellectual kind of thing. It's more like the feeling of being refreshed. It's like being energized, having a great mindset on the day, right? It's not necessarily having good sleep is just, okay, you have more energy doing so and so. It's like a whole mindset and the positivity change, which I think is the most beneficial, fruitful thing. Because what you want to start the day off, when you wake up in the morning, you want to feel good. You want to feel like you can have a great day and tackle those assignments and things you have to do. In contrast to waking up, feeling groggy, but trying to just push through, right? And I think sleep is, you know, a great change for me after I used to sleep, not great, but once I had a great schedule, I started to feel much better. The quality of life, not just my assignments, have been great. Whether it be academic, in the gym, I feel great going to the gym every day. Um, Whether that be spiritual, listening to music, playing music, etc. So that's just what I want to end off with, and I think truly from the bottom of my heart, sleep is really important and really beneficial if you have a good habit. Okay, so thank you and check out our socials and have a nice day. Thank you.